I've lived through droughts, floods, even one tornado that ripped half my barn to pieces, but nothing ever stopped my heart cold like that sound. A sharp click in the dark, the cap of a lighter. Flipping open. It was past midnight, Texas wind mean and dry, scraping the tin roof like claws. Ranger, my old shepherd, shot up before I did, hackles up, low growl in his chest. At first, I thought coyotes again, but then the smell hit. Gasoline, thick and bitter, warning me before my brain even caught up. I grabbed the flashlight, boots, and glanced at the security monitor by the window, 3 shapes in black, vests marked County Tactical Unit. Except, yeah, our county doesn't even have a tactical unit. My gut just went cold. These weren't cops, they were ghosts in borrowed armor. One knelt by the barn wall, shaking a can. Another set something shiny on the ground, maybe a detonator, maybe just another lighter. Either way, I wasn't about to find out. I racked a shell into my old Remington, that sound echoing through my hall like thunder in a graveyard. Ranger started barking so loud the window rattled. I stepped out the back door, felt the night slam into me, cold, angry, full of gasoline. My flashlight beam caught a glint, a mask. One of them froze, the other spun around. "Who the hell are you?" I shouted, my voice bouncing off the windmill and coming back empty. No answer. The man with the can just stood there, raised his lighter, and clicked it. "Drop it." I stepped closer. He clicked again. My finger was already tense on the trigger. The blast split the night wide open, a thunderclap rolling through the valley. One hit the dirt screaming, clutching his leg. The others ran fast, vanishing behind the SUVs parked down the road. The smell of burning grass hit next, sharp and alive. A small flame had caught on the fence post. I dropped the gun, grabbed a tarp, smothered it, while Ranger barked himself wild, trying to chase them down. When the smoke cleared, the yard was dead silent again. No headlights, no footsteps, just my own pulse and wind in the grass. That's when I saw what they left, a red jerry can, half full. Label peeled off, patch of melted rubber where someone's boot had slipped. I lifted it, cheap, unmarked, but spray-painted Clean Sweep 2.0 across the side. That name didn't mean a thing to me then. I'd remember it later. Oh yeah? I stood there a long time, shotgun in one hand, that can in the other, moon lighting up the fence line like bone. Somewhere way out, a siren started to wail, but it was too far to matter. They were gone, and I was alone again. Just me, Ranger, and a patch of ground that'll never grow right again. I should have called the sheriff right then, but something in me just hesitated. Pride maybe, or instinct, because deep down I knew the sheriff wasn't going to believe a word of this. Who sends fake cops to burn a ranch? Who plans that? That's what I kept asking myself under that pale Texas moon, shotgun still hot. But truth was simpler and uglier. They didn't want to scare me. They wanted to erase me. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. Sat on the porch till sunrise, shotgun across my lap, Ranger at my feet, horizon turning from black to blood red. When daylight touched the fields, I said it out loud, a promise and a threat. If they come back, I won't miss. Sun came up, valley looked peaceful again, but peace doesn't mean safe. Silence out here has teeth. Gasoline clung to the soil, no matter how much dirt I shoveled over the burnt spot. Ranger stuck by my side, growling every time the wind rattled the fence. Then my phone started buzzing. News had already got it. Headline: Local rancher fires on federal officers during inspection. Federal officers? There weren't any feds last night, just 3 ghosts in fake uniforms. The article quoted a Sage Valley HOA statement, said they'd been conducting safety inspections, and I'd opened fire without provocation. The statement signed, Grant Wallace, President. The name hit my gut. Somehow, their press release was already out 6 hours after it happened, almost like it had been drafted before the shot. Later I'd find out Grant Wallace was Karen Wallace's brother, the same Karen who burned her way into local legend a decade ago. Doorbell rang, Sheriff Blake Turner. Hat low, expression flat, stood on my porch. He'd been around longer than me. We weren't friends, but there was respect. "Ethan, you mind telling me what the hell happened?" I told him all of it. He listened, eyes on the horizon, rubbed 2 fingers across the dirt near the fence. "Diesel mixed with aviation fuel. he muttered. Not something farmers use. So you believe me? I asked. I believe you saw what you saw, he said. But if this gets political, Ethan, these people play dirtier than we do. Then he glanced at the can. Clean Sweep 2.0. Where'd you hear that? I pointed. He got quiet. I haven't heard that phrase since. Never mind. Keep your head down. By noon, news trucks were parked at the gate, neighbors driving by slow. Some yelled, "Hope your aim's better next time, Cole." Didn't matter, Storm was here. That evening, I got an email, blocked address. Subject, we warned you. Attachment, a map of my property, red excess over every building. Next time, we bring proof. Something inside me shifted. Yeah, I was scared, but now I was pissed. 2 days later, a letter, Sage Valley HOA, attendance required at Saturday's meeting. The word required stuck in my teeth. I showed up, hall packed, sunlight cutting across old faces and new. Banner on the wall, rebuilding trust, restoring order, words that felt like a threat. Then Grant Wallace walked in, gray suit, white shirt, smile slick as oil. Security guys flanking him. Way too serious for a community meeting. "Mr. Cole, glad you joined us," he said. Voice smooth as whiskey. Wasn't given much of a choice. He grinned. Choice is an illusion, especially when people refuse to cooperate. Laughter rippled, a forced, obedient sound. He stepped to the mic. "Friends, we can't let one man's paranoia destroy the peace here. All eyes on me." I stood up. "You mean the peace built with fake cops and gasoline?" Murmurs. Grant's smile didn't move, but his eyes did, cold, calculating. "That's a serious accusation. Those men were authorized contractors." "By who? You, or whoever's paying you to push me off my land." He flinched, just a hair. "Let's stay civil. I know you've lost property. You're emotional." "Yeah, emotional tends to happen when someone tries to burn your barn." Nervous chuckles. Grant turned to the crowd. "This neighborhood is meant to be a sanctuary, not a farmyard circus." Then came the slip. "Investors." I pounced. "Investors? You running a neighborhood or a business?" Silence. Everyone felt the shift. Community talk to naked threat. Then Sarah Collins stood up in the back, arms crossed, voice strong. "You don't own this town, Mr. Wallace. And you sure as hell don't scare us." Miguel by the door nodded. Grant tried to rally. Unity, not division, but the tension stuck. Afterward, I found him by his Lexus. "You should have stayed quiet, Mr. Cole. There are forces at play that don't stop for stubborn ranchers." I stared at him. "And there are men in this valley who don't scare easy." That night, mail started, a flood of violation notices. Photos of my ranch taken by someone inside my fence. Every morning, a new warning. Every envelope stamped Grant Wallace. Thursday, 2 SUVs pulled up. Men in cheap sunglasses, flashing new county badges. "Environmental inspection," one said. "Chemical runoff from your livestock pens." "From manure?" "Seriously, we just need access." "No warrant." When I pressed, he smirked. "We can make this easy or official." I let them in, knew the game. They snapped photos, marked everything, left without a word. I took the pile of letters to Linda Parker, my dad's old attorney, sharp as a tack. She laughed, pointed out the regulatory code on the notice had been repealed 4 years ago. "It's a scare tactic," she said, "and a sloppy one. They're bluffing and breaking their own charter. HOA has zero power here. So why do it? It's not about winning, Ethan. It's about wearing you down." She handed me a legal pad. "Document everything. Give me a trail, I'll build the fire." I followed her advice, set up new cameras, and caught the same SUVs creeping by at dawn. Next morning, a final notice, pending property compliance termination, arrived. Termination sounded more like a threat than paperwork. I told myself, I'm not leaving. For a few days, it went quiet. Then came the smell of smoke, ranger barking at the north fence. Found one of my cows, burned. 2 words painted on the post, Clean Sweep 2.0. Called Linda. She told me the story. Karen Wallace, Grant's sister, ran a project called Operation Clean Sweep. Burned out old ranchers. Blamed accidents. Grant was just carrying the torch, only smarter, hiding behind paperwork. Sheriff Blake came by, just shook his head. They're pushing you to make a mistake. Don't give them one. That night, I walked the fence line, shotgun in hand, watching for eyes in the dark. Saw a match flicker in the distance, someone watching. I knew this wasn't a warning, it was a promise. Next morning, Miguel Reyes, my neighbor, showed up. You got cameras? Let me see. He spotted a glint in the footage. A drone, thermal model, not a toy. I used to work on these for the Air Force. Took the footage, said he'd trace it. That night, Sarah Collins stopped by with her medkit. Wrapped a cut I hadn't noticed. They want to scare you. Use it. Don't hide, prepare. Turns out, Sarah had done 3 tours as a medic in Kandahar. She knew what real fear looked like. Before she left, she handed me a radio, channel 3. If you hear static 3 times, it's me. 2 days later, Miguel came back. Drones piggybacking off the HOA server, registered to Cobalt Risk Solutions. Names sent a chill down my spine. Private security, hired muscle for HOAs. They've been watching for weeks, trying to catch you reacting, maybe set you up. That night, me, Sarah, and Miguel mapped out defenses, motion lights, sight lines, camera feeds. We were done hiding. They want a war, I said. Then they just found one. When the fire came, it wasn't just flames. It was a message. Barn burning, animals trapped, me fighting through smoke and heat, saving who I could, losing a calf-eyed. Bottle-fed myself. Saw 2 figures by the fence, then gone. Blake pulled me out, called every truck in the county, but it was too late. In the ashes, Miguel found a drone mount. They'd recorded the whole thing. The next day, Linda showed up, tablet in hand. Footage from the fire, figures pouring liquid, badges that read CRS Tactical Unit 3. Linda had traced payments from a shell company called Blue Range Holdings, run by Elliot Kane, the same guy who'd bankrolled Karen Wallace. Grant was just the middleman. They wanted to clear land for Green Horizon, luxury homes, golf courses, airstrip, all at the center of my ranch. So this is what Karen started. And Grant's finishing it. Miguel traced the drone's signal to the HOA office. Linda pulled out a court order. We file Monday. Once this hits, they'll have no choice but to investigate. That night, 4 of us, me, Sarah, Miguel, Linda, sat around the kitchen table, war counsel. I realized this wasn't about land. It was about truth. The next morning, we set up cameras, went live, told the world the truth. Views exploded, support poured in. But as the sun set, headlights appeared. 3 SUVs. Grant and his CRS men. I stood on the porch, shotgun in hand. Sarah crouched by the tractor, Miguel filming. Evening, Ethan, Grant called, smirk on his face. You're trespassing, Grant. Technically, you're still under HOA jurisdiction. Technically, you're full of it. I fired a warning shot. Dirt exploded at their feet. Next one goes higher. Suddenly, sirens, Sheriff Blake. Deputies, rifles drawn. CRS men hesitated. Some dropped their weapons. But Grant just smiled. A black truck crested the hill. Sarah fired. Windshield shattered. Driver surrendered. Linda stepped out, camera rolling. Grant Wallace, under Texas law, you're being detained for arson, fraud, and conspiracy. His face went pale. Blake cuffed him, asked if I was all right. No, I said. But I will be. Weeks later, Linda filed the complaint. Evidence, wire transfers, everything leading back to Kane. Courtroom packed, Kane stoic behind his lawyers. When Linda finished, the verdict was swift, guilty. 12 years, 10 million restitution. The HOA was dissolved, Blue Range Holdings gone. Neighbors came together, rebuilt the barn, set up rescue programs, even started a nonprofit for HOA victims. One afternoon, a little girl brought me a stray puppy. You taking strays, Mr. Cole? I knelt, scratched the mutt's ears. Yeah, we do that here. Laughter on the porch. Peace for once. That evening, I walked the fence line, new barn shining in the sunset. Some storms come to destroy you, others to clear the path. Mine did both. Out of the ashes, something stronger grew. This land's not just dirt, it's a promise. A promise no HOA or corporation will ever own again. So if you followed this story, if you've ever had to stand your ground, you know what this place means. Hit that like, drop a comment, tell me where you're watching from. Texas, Wyoming, Montana, maybe a small town fighting its own storm. Justice doesn't always come quietly. Sometimes it comes with fire. I'm Ethan Cole. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay strong, stay honest, and I'll see you down the line.